decide, is the universe with you, against you, or does it not matter? Is there no correlation? I'm going to go out on a limb and say you all think that there's a relationship there. Otherwise, you would not be sitting here. You know that there's much more to this. And again, it leads us to this concept of really moving from judgment to observation. That is a philosophy, a theory, a curiosity that you will have for the rest of your life. And today you have a concept of it, tomorrow you have a different concept of it, and you will continue to edit it and morph into it based on the circumstances that you encounter in your life. Now it goes into, now we get into this point, which is, I'm really asking you guys to be with this concept. If you want to do this work and really get into it, you must, you do. You don't have to do it, but if you're doing this work, you must take 100% accountability for the circumstances and the reality that you're in. And again, we've talked about it, and I'm not going to belabor the concept, but it can initially sound offensive because the things that are going on in our lives that are challenging and difficult, and the things that are done to us through ignorance or malevolence or whatever, however you want to concept it, I'm not saying take blame for it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is take accountability for it. What happens is, and you're not going to think your way into this because the mind, that thinking mind is dedicated to the 0.01%, not the 99%. It's a lovely part of you. It will come along for the rest of the journey. But taking accountability is not a blame game. When things happen to us, it's not about they were wrong and we were right, or if I was the frequency receiver of this person doing this to me, then I am to blame. And I got to remind you guys, because this is a part that we're going to have to go over, is 5%, 95%. 5% consciousness, 95% unconscious, right? The idea is that, excuse me, that unconscious, we're not aware of it. We're just not aware of it. But the stuff will keep showing up in the vortex. It will keep showing up in the vortex as a resource of information. Remember, everything is just information. It's just information. And the more we judge it, the more we miss the message. The more we judge the circumstance, the person, the place, the thing, the more we miss the information because we're not observing it. In observation, it doesn't mean that we like it. It doesn't mean that we're not emotional about it. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that we observe it, we don't personalize it, we see it as information, and then we do something very different. We do something very different with that information. So again, the 4 or 3 things that keep circulating in your reality that are unfavorable to you, once we start to be with this information in a different way, the grand concept here is it no longer shows up. And if it shows up, you don't even recognize it. You will not recognize it. It will have no impact on you, 0 impact on you, because it no longer has to come into your circumstantial purview to serve you with information. Again, the big concept that I want to be with here, people are having a hard time with that, is that, how do I say this? You are an infinite being. And whether you want to, I don't know what your beliefs are, you get to choose whatever you want. You don't even have to think about this. But you can either think about things from a perspective of many lifetimes that you've had, or, because this is not the first go-around, or the eternal moment of now. So you just, literally from a physics perspective, we just keep reliving the same moment. That's all this is. And you've been doing this for an infinite amount of time. So what it is that we're doing is, whether you want a concept from past lives or you want to just be in that more physics-minded concept of the eternal moment of now, how do I say this? Even if you don't get this time space continuum, you will be given another opportunity to work on this. So when people think, oh, I have to get into the fifth dimension and I have to stay there and no contrast should ever come into my vortex, nope, that's not what we're talking about. Contrast will always come into the vortex. As you shift from judging it to observing it, when it comes into the vortex, it will have less impact on your state.